Last month, a judge issued a temporary restraining order blocking her from making those appointments without approval from trustees.
Well, there is more high drama in the village of Dalton tonight, where embattled Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Tiffany Henyard, often referred to as the super mayor, finds herself at the center of a political storm. Serving as both the mayor of Dalton, Illinois, and supervisor of Thornton Township, Henyard has been outmaneuvered in a dramatic turn of events. She was recently denied a spot on the Democratic ballot for township supervisor, a major blow to her political career. This setback, combined with escalating scandals and widespread public anger, has placed Henyard on the brink of a political downfall. Her lavish lifestyle, funded by taxpayer money, now stands in stark contrast to the unraveling of her once powerful political empire. Could this be the beginning of the end for Tiffany Henyard? Let's take a closer look.
There are perception issues with it that are right to get attention. Will the court look at those perception issues? Probably not. But
imagine a packed auditorium in Homewood, Illinois, filled with anticipation as the tension builds. It's the first Democratic caucus in Thornton Township in decades, organized by State Senator Napoleon Harris. As Harris entered, his supporters poured into the room, quickly claiming their spots and securing a decisive advantage. Meanwhile, Tiffany Henyard's supporters, many reportedly using township resources, were left stranded outside in the cold, unable to get in due to the room's 600-person capacity limit. Henyard's team, notoriously tardy, arrived too late to make a difference. Just as the doors were closing, what should have been a routine event turned into a political spectacle.
New drama tonight involving a controversial politician in the south suburbs. Tiffany Henyard was the only Thornton Township leader to show up for a schedule.
When the caucus began, it took just 7 minutes for Napoleon Harris and his slate to secure the Democratic nomination for the upcoming April election. 7 minutes. That was all it took to shatter Tiffany Henyard's hopes of re-election as township supervisor. The room erupted in cheers as Harris's name was announced, but Henyard's reaction was one of pure fury. "You didn't run any of this the right way," he shouted, her voice quivering with frustration. It was more than just anger. It was the raw edge of desperation. Henyard knew this defeat meant she would be excluded from the Democratic ticket, leaving her with only one option: to run as a write-in candidate, a long shot at best.
There is a new legal battle brewing in Dalton between the mayor and some village trustees.
As Virginia Waldrop explains, it has a lot to do with 2 meetings held earlier.
Henyard's complaints about the caucus process were quickly dismissed, as Harris and his team had adhered to the established rules. No matter how loudly Henyard cried foul, the requirements were clear. Candidates needed a full slate, including a certified assessor, and Henyard's team had failed to meet them. Harris's attorney, Burton Odilon, emphasized that this process had been in place for decades. It's legal, it's democratic, and it was carried out correctly. Henyard's accusations of voter suppression and unfair practices were met with skepticism, especially considering her own history of bending the rules for personal gain. But this caucus is just one chapter in a much larger saga. Henyard has been embroiled in scandal for years, with accusations ranging from extravagant taxpayer spending to allegations of corruption and mismanagement. Her time in office has been far from smooth, and frustration has reached a boiling point among the residents of Thornton Township and Dalton. One local summed it up succinctly: "She's done nothing but embarrass this community. It's time for her to go." And though she may face an uphill battle, Henyard is unlikely to exit quietly.
You're a clown. We will continue to speak out against wrongdoing. Why won't you step down?
Henyard's reaction to her defeat was nothing short of dramatic. She stormed out of the auditorium, flanked by a small group of supporters, as the crowd serenaded her with "Na, na, na, hey, kiss him goodbye." The irony was thick in the air. Henyard, who had long been criticized for shouting over others in meetings and dismissing dissenting opinions, was now being drowned out by her own constituents. "Karma, injustice in action," one observer remarked, and they weren't wrong. For years, Henyard had ruled with a sense of entitlement, using her dual roles as mayor and supervisor to amass power. But now, it seems her reign has come to an abrupt end. The public's disdain for Henyard isn't just about her political theatrics. It's about the tangible impact her leadership has had on the community. Thornton Township is facing serious financial struggles, many of which can be directly linked to Henyard's management. Investigations into her spending have uncovered shocking details, including tens of thousands of dollars spent on first-class flights, luxury hotels, expensive meals, and the infamous $3,000 Amazon shopping spree in a single day. It's no surprise that residents are furious.
Home that she leased to Mayor Tiffany Henyard has filed eviction papers. She says Henyard has not paid her rent, and now...
While Henyard's lavish spending has certainly captured attention, her leadership style has also sparked significant controversy. Critics describe her as combative and dismissive, often silencing opposing voices during public meetings. One former official even compared her behavior to bullying, noting that she seemed to view anyone who disagreed with her as an adversary. This abrasive approach has alienated not only her colleagues, but also many residents, leaving a growing number of constituents feeling disillusioned and disconnected from their local government.
Until 2025, yet Tiffany Henyard has officially decided she wants to stay as mayor despite the cloud of controversy.
Adding insult to injury, Henyard's legal troubles have cast a dark cloud over her administration. The FBI's investigation into her financial dealings has reportedly expanded to include her close allies, some of whom are accused of engaging in fraudulent activities on her behalf. One particularly damaging incident involved a top police officer and Henyard ally, recently indicted for bankruptcy fraud, which has only intensified calls for accountability. The situation is no longer just about poor leadership, it's about deep-rooted corruption. People of Thornton Township are clearly fed up, but the scandals don't end there. Henyard's cancer charity, the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation, has also come under fire for failing to disclose how it spends its donations. The Illinois Attorney General's office has even ordered the charity to cease soliciting donations until it complies with state regulations. Meanwhile, her use of township buses to transport supporters to the caucus has sparked even more outrage. Critics argue this is yet another example of Henyard exploiting public resources for personal gain. She may be getting the boot, but Tiffany and her cronies still need to be indicted and prosecuted for government corruption, one commenter wrote, and they're far from alone. The calls for justice are only growing louder.
But you don't even have a sense to even look in our face. But you rather just steal our money and do what you want to do.
As the pressure mounts, Henyard's future looks increasingly uncertain. The FBI is reportedly investigating her administration. Legal experts warn that she could face serious consequences if any wrongdoing is uncovered. This is about more than just politics, one analyst explained. It's about accountability. If she's broken the law, she must face the consequences. With multiple investigations underway and a growing list of lawsuits piling up, Henyard is facing both political and legal peril. Despite the mounting pressure, Henyard remains defiant. In a fiery press conference following the caucus, she vowed to keep fighting, declaring that the show will go on, though her words seemed increasingly hollow. Many believe her days in office are numbered, and the chances of her winning as a write-in candidate are slim. Even her most loyal supporters are beginning to lose faith. One ally, Keith Price, optimistically suggested that enough people know Henyard's name to write it in on the ballot, but even he sounded uncertain.
At 6, embattled Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard is mounting a re-election bid. Henyard made the announcement in a post on her Facebook.
Meanwhile, Harris and his team are moving forward, focused on the upcoming April election and addressing the issues that matter most to the community. Harris, a former NFL player and successful businessman, has pledged to bring transparency and accountability to Thornton Township. His caucus victory was a clear indication that residents are eager for change. As for Henyard, her next move remains uncertain. Will she double down on her legal battles, investing time and resources into lawsuits that may never come to fruition? Or will she step back and allow the community to heal? Either way, it's evident that Tiffany Henyard's political career is in free fall, and a comeback seems unlikely. The public's response to her downfall has been overwhelmingly negative. Social media is filled with comments from both residents and political observers, many of whom see her defeat as a long overdue reckoning. Tiffany used to shout over others in meetings. Now she's the one being shouted down. Karma and justice in action, one commenter wrote.
Point the finger to Tiffany or allow me. I'm over it. Now it's time for me.
Amid the celebration, there's a palpable sense of frustration among many residents who feel Henyard has caused irreparable damage to the township, damage that may take years to undo. We're going to be cleaning up her mess for a long time, but at least now they feel there's a chance to move forward. So, what's next for Thornton Township? Will Harris follow through on his promises and restore faith in local government? And as for Henyard, will she face legal consequences for her actions? Or will she find a way to make a comeback? The answers are still unclear, but one thing is certain. This story is far from over. What do you think? Will Harris be the leader Thornton Township needs, Or is this just another chapter in the township's political saga? As for Henyard, does she deserve a second chance? Or is it time for her to step aside for good? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.